Welcome to Dreamland Japan. Here we are with another exciting episode, hopefully. And we've got our guest here today. Why don't you introduce yourself? You go by Steve?
I'm Steve. I'm from Boston a long time ago. And then we moved to Hawaii.
Wow.
Then we moved to California.
Okay.
Then we moved to Florida.
Nice, nice.
So
And you've been in Japan for a long time.
over 10 years.
We're talking. Oh yeah, we're talking. We don't use the word expert on this show. We try not to use the word, but we do have experts. Definitely. And Steve won't say he's an expert, but I say he's an expert. He's in many things, and one of them being living in Japan, just basically existing
Right.
in Japan. But before we get started, let's have a drink.
Okay.
Most important things first.
Right.
We've got Kirin's Greens Free. Let's take a look at this. Greens Free. This is a first for both of us, right?
Right. It looks pretty
It
interesting.
does. I like the
Yeah.
look of it. Now,
Yeah.
it's non-alcoholic, so we're not going to get carried away over here. We're going to keep things above board. And
another night we can have
another night, yeah,
alcohol.
we've got lots of stuff. The bar is stocked.
Right.
So here we go. Oh, nice. You always want to keep that away from the mic.
So the Kirin is the symbol.
Right. What is the
On-
Kirin? Yes,
The Kirin is this mystical beast.
that's what I heard.
Right.
Look at that. I know we got a light
And-
glare there, but
And I like the idea of a Kirin on the beard. Something about
I
it
do-
kind of nice.
I do too. Let's see.
Yeah.
I got the sticker on this. Let's go. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's a Kirin, yeah, mythical beast.
Right.
Sort of like a griffin type.
Right.
Does it have more than 4 legs? I forgot what's unique about it. No, it's got 4 legs. But
Mhm.
it's scary looking,
It's a little scary,
It's
but
a little-
kind of interesting.
but interesting.
Yeah.
And want to get that sound. Okay. We'll give you
And
the
this was
line.
a
You're the
present.
guest, so you give this.
And this was a present.
This was a present. Oh, hold on. I should do the right-hander, right? Is that bad luck?
Doesn't matter.
Cheers to Christmas. Happy holidays.
Christmas, right?
Happy holidays and a happy new year.
So.
It's a little weird. It's a
It
little
is.
weird. I
It
can
is.
I can definitely tell it's not alcoholic.
Right. I
Like
can
right
tell
away.
too.
Now, why is that? I guess
It's kind of flat.
it has been in the refrigerator for a while, but it is tasty. It's tasty, but it just doesn't have the alcohol.
Right.
I prefer the real beer.
I wouldn't go out of my way.
No, but it was a gift.
It was
and
a
it's,
gift.
It's free. We
And
don't
if we're a little thirsty.
look a gift griffin in the mouth,
That's
a
right.
gift Kirin in the mouth.
That's
So okay, so we've got our drink, and here we are in Tokyo, Japan, and we're in Kichijoji, well, Inokashira, really, but Kichijoji, Mitaka, Tokyo, Japan, sort of the geographical center of Tokyo Prefecture. So we're not in the huge metropolis. We're not in the downtown Blade Runner area. We're more the suburbs. We're more the countryside, wouldn't you say?
But this room, it feels like that there's a fireplace in the back.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. It's
Look at that.
for
We've got
some
a little
reason,
fire. We've got a happy holidays Yuletide
Right.
log going.
Here we are in December.
Right, it's December.
And it feels cozy in here.
That's right. I got the heat
Right.
cranked up, and
Right.
we're doing okay. We're doing
Right.
pretty good. Yeah, remember the Yule log? Did you ever see the Yule log on TV? They used to show certain. I think PBS. I think
Right.
would have.
I saw it.
For ours, it was Channel 13 out of New York, and we'd watch the log. We had a fireplace, but we just loved turning on that channel.
Right. I liked it too. And I like the Yule log cake.
Oh yeah.
It's delicious.
I just saw an advertisement at the bakery over in where was it? Musashi Sakai Bakery for the German, was it Stoller cake? Not a cake. No, it's sort of a cake. Isn't it?
It's kind of a pastry.
Pastry, Danish pastry.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really a
They're
cake.
selling it at the new bakery here
Oh.
by the train station.
Yeah, we've got a we've got a little like a village feel in Inokashira.
Right.
Inokashira Koen is our station. So we're right on the park. And the park is beautiful. And we've got these little shops. And Steve, you were talking about this new
Right.
new bakery.
There's a new bakery by a woman. She speaks good English.
Ooh.
And I go in there and she's friendly. Nothing has been amazing, but
Right.
it's good.
Right. Oh, you actually had
Yeah.
the food in there.
I've had 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're a regular.
I'm a regular.
You're a regular over there now.
And it's a nice place.
I've only been to the 7-Eleven.
And I want to go to there's a new Japanese restaurant that serves lunch
Oh, okay.
right next to the bakery.
And I noticed that they have the curry shops coming
The
soon.
curry shop's coming in January.
Okay, January. And we've got
It's a little expensive, but it's supposed to be nice.
yeah, kind of a gourmet curry.
Yeah,
Curry.
like 1,800, 2,000 yen.
Right. So about $15 for a curry dish, which is kind of steep for curry for Japan because curry is very cheap here.
But people say it's really good.
But if it's really good, they'll line up and pay for it. Yeah,
So-
there's a curry place, I guess a famous place in Kamakura, the old capital, right below Tokyo there in Kanagawa. And people line up to go to this curry shop.
Oh, really?
And I've even seen their product in supermarkets or stores where they sell curry that you can make at home, and they'll say the Kamakura curry from this restaurant.
And did you go there?
Yeah, we went there. I went there first on a school trip, and then I went back again after that.
And how was it?
Oh, delicious. Yeah, really.
was
And
it?
it's served in these tureens and the silver tureens, and also sort of this whole treatment you get of getting your curry dinner.
Well, recently I've been buying some curry from the supermarket, and it's Eric's.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric's house.
South.
Eric of the South.
Yeah,
Eric's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I'm interested in going there sometime.
Right. Who is this
I'm
Eric
curious.
guy
I don't know.
with the hot ladle? He's just like
Right.
going crazy. Really spicy. Really spicy.
And we have an Indian guy on the second floor of our
Right.
building here.
Right.
And the other day he was eating something from Bengal.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And so he told me it was in kichijoji. And just from the description, I found it today. And I bought a couple of Bengali
Oh, good.
dishes. Yeah. So it looks good.
I don't know if I've had Bengali food
Right,
before.
right.
Although I've had so much Indian food.
Right.
Chances are that
You might have had it and
Right.
you didn't recognize it.
Bengal Lancers I've seen so many times with Gary Cooper, so I should get some credit for that at least. Which I heard was Hitler's favorite movie. I don't know if that's true.
Really?
Yeah, was it Charge? No, the Charge of the Light Brigade was Errol Flynn, and Gary Cooper was something of the Bengal Lancers, a Day
Wow.
of the Bengal Lancers, something like that. And Gary Cooper and French O'Tone, and a cast of thousands,
Mm.
and wonderful flick, 1930s. But
Well, I'm excited about Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2 is coming out.
It's here.
Oh, it's already out?
It's here at the Kichijoji Cinema.
Oh, because I know Denzel Washington was here. Good
And
old
they-
Denzel was here promoting it.
And they love him.
They love him here. And I think,
Right.
I'm not sure if Ridley Scott was here, or is he even directing this one or no?
He is.
He is, right?
You know, he's either 81 or
Oh my,
91.
no, he must 81, probably 81. Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
that old?
He's that old.
I didn't know that. He's doing
And they
pretty
say he doesn't care about the history. He just does anything he wants, and he doesn't care if it makes sense
good.
history-wise.
Good. It's a movie.
He's just
Yeah,
enjoying.
it's right, exactly.
Right.
I mean, excuse me. Just my think of it.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I mean, people get so hung up on, oh, well, the real gladiators didn't do this, or well, they didn't when they came out into the Coliseum, they came out this way. Come on, it's a movie.
Right.
Well, let's just go and enjoy it. And of course, for logical reasons, logistical reasons, sometimes they have to change things simply because the way they shoot it, or the way the lighting is, or the way the camera placement is, or the blocking, or even just it looks better. It just looks
Right,
better.
right.
So they change it, and
Right.
that's the whole point is entertainment.
Right.
It's not a documentary.
I get my popcorn. I watch the movie. I don't care about the history.
Right. It's
Yeah.
nice to know, like, after, and then you
Right.
do the
And you
search.
check it. And
Yeah,
see
you do the
difference.
checking, because I'm a stickler for anybody who's watched my web series from many years ago before YouTube existed, cinematedman, and my big pet peeve was spoilers. People reading, not spoilers. They become spoilers, but people reading trivia on a movie before they see it.
Oh, no.
Right. You can't
Should be
do that.
after,
You're
after.
just cheating yourself.
Right. You are.
It's like buying a novel and then going to the end of the novel and reading the end first. Like, why would you do that? Why would you jip yourself out of the experience? So when you go, and I have to say that to this day, I still regret, and I tell people this story, and it changes some people. Some people get changed. To this day, I still regret watching the documentary, The Making of Casablanca. I wish I never saw that.
I haven't
Because
seen
it
it.
told me and I won't say anything. I won't spoil anything.
Right.
It told me how they made the ending, and the ending is the most famous part of Casablanca.
I don't think so.
Considered no, the most famous. I'm not saying the best,
Right.
but it's the most famous scene. Is
Mm.
Right. The plane's there, the engine start up.
Right.
You're going to go with him, that kind of thing.
We'll always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris, right?
Right,
For me, yeah. For me, it's not the best part of the movie, but it is like the most iconic, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That and Play It Again, Sam, which he never said. He said, "Play it, Sam."
Right. I heard
Play It
that.
Again, Sam is the
Right.
Woody Allen movie, right?
The Woody Allen.
Yeah, Play It, Sam. That may be the most iconic line, or We'll Always Have Paris. But anyway, the last part of Casablanca, they explain how it's done, and I wish I had never seen this, and I can't unsee it.
Right.
So now every time I watch, and I had seen Casablanca already, so it wasn't like I was waiting. I should have watched the documentary. I had seen Casablanca dozens of times, but still it ruined the ending.
Oh no!
So don't see it.
Okay,
don't watch
I'll
it.
Never see it.
Don't watch it. If you ever see anything like that, everything else is fine. It's just that ending. They explain that ending.
So now I'm reading F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Well, you got a couple books here.
Yeah.
You've got
Samuel Beckett.
Samuel Beckett's More Pricks Than Kicks. Great title.
Right. It's this absurd short stories he writes about one man in Ireland who's 20 and going through many things.
Wow. So somebody like us, 20, but we're in Japan, right? That's about right. Okay, that sounds nice. This is short, so it's all short stories.
All short stories. It was his second novel.
Oh, wow. So it's early.
So it's very early.
Which is great, because you want to get the early stuff. You like Hemingway, too. You want to read what they did before they learned too much.
Yeah, I'm curious how it was.
And before they were famous.
Right. So this was way before he was
famous. Pure stuff.
Yes.
And I'm reading Murakami's Norwegian Wood. Very famous, became a book. I see. This is my first Murakami. This is my virgin Murakami book. I've never read Murakami, not even a little bit. I've just been a holdout. I don't know why.
About 5 of them.
Yeah, most people I know, especially here in Japan, have read lots of his stuff, and I've never read his stuff. It wasn't that I was against reading it. It's just that I even have 2 of his books. So this one, and I have Kafka on the Shore, which will be maybe the next one. And I just never got around to saying, okay, I'm in the mood to read this book. And also, maybe I was a little bit, I've got that thing, I'm not sure what they call it, but when something's popular,
right,
I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, right? I don't want to get on that darn bandwagon. I want to stay away from the bandwagon. I want to go far away. So when this came out, or actually when any of them came out, I just sort of shied away from it and said, I think I'm going to just hold out a little bit longer and see what happens. But now we're talking 1980.
Right.
Waited a long time. Yeah. 1987. Right. 88, this came out. And I'm loving it. By the way, I'm loving it. I'm surprised. It's a little more sexually graphic, maybe not the right word, but more sexual than I expected. I was not expecting that at all. So
I liked the book a lot. But when I saw the movie, it really hit me emotionally more than the book.
Right, you said the movie.
And I'm crying during the movie.
Right. Now,
and the music is so good.
That's a Japanese movie.
Yeah.
I don't know who directed it.
Yeah, it's a Thai director.
Oh,
Murakami picked him.
Oh, maybe Ong Lee, maybe.
Yes.
Was it Ong Lee?
No, Ong Lee is from Thailand. Is from Taiwan.
Oh, Thai, as in Thailand. Okay.
Yeah,
Thailand. Okay, right. Okay.
And it's really well done, and all the actors are so good. And they have the band from this British band, Radiohead.
Oh.
A couple of the people from Radiohead do the music.
Oh, okay.
And it's like this perfect movie. But I don't remember the book hitting me as hard as this movie. So if you have a chance, make sure.
I will. I will. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna find it and watch it after I finish the movie. Let it settle in. Let it settle in. Not right away. Let it settle in. Of course, I will do the. Speaking of the spoilers and the trivia, I do look up stuff after I've seen the movie. So even though I regret the Casablanca documentary, other movies which are not so powerful for me but are fun, I will definitely look up. Whenever we watch a movie, we look up trivia afterwards. We just watched Farewell to Arms, the Rock Hudson Hemingway's Farewell to Arms.
I liked it.
There's been several versions. Gary Cooper, the first one.
I'd like to see the first one.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
But I grew up with the Rock Hudson, Jennifer Jones. Yeah.
Me too.
And it still upsets me. I still think it's a very sad ending. It's just tragic. But I guess we looked up after the movie and we found out that actually, in fact, it didn't do so well,
Right. And
and
Hemingway was angry
Henry
about
was
it
angry, and Rock
because
Hudson regretted it later.
because the woman who played,
Jennifer Jones.
she's the wife of
She
the
did
producer,
Selznick, right? David O. Selznick's
and
wife,
she
right?
was 30 something, and
And she's
Hemingway
supposed to be
said,
20 or
right,
19,
27.
20. Yeah. So
So Hemingway was so pissed off.
I
He
think
said,
she's fine. She looks fine, but
I
yeah,
think she looks fine, and
but I could see,
right, but I could see where he wanted a younger woman.
right.
But Murakami has a new book out
Oh,
called The Wall Around the City,
oh, okay.
and it just was released in English,
Wow.
and I haven't read reviews yet, so I don't know how
Yeah.
it did.
Well, all his books do well, though, don't they? They're all bestseller.
No,
No, not really.
he wrote a book, a nonfiction book, the on everything you want to know about running,
Oh,
because he's a runner,
yep. He's a runner.
and people trashed it, and they said it was
Oh,
really
no.
bad, the
Really?
review was
Really?
terrible.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so he doesn't
Interesting.
always get good
Well,
reviews.
I know. I remember you were telling me, and I also did some reading before as I started this, and I had seen something. Maybe that was it. I saw something on TV about him, or an article in the paper, and the actual newspaper, Japan Times, and about him owning the coffee shop, and then getting the inspiration to be a writer at a baseball game,
Right.
and then trying to do both, uh, run the shop and write books, and it wasn't working. He
Said he
realized
couldn't do it.
couldn't do it,
Right.
and he was a chain smoker, drank, kind of like the main character in Norwegian Wood, I think, is just smoking and drinking all the time.
Mm,
And then he decided, okay, I'm not going to last long. If I want to be a writer, I'm going to have to live long to learn.
right.
So I better change my ways. And I guess he quit smoking and started running.
All right.
And did the running, and that's where it
Yeah.
started. And now he's like a big time runner.
Right. But the book's no good about running.
The book's no good about running.
But he wrote a really nice book about Seiji Ozawa, the
Oh,
conductor.
sure, sure.
And the two of them had a conversation about music.
Oh, wow.
And the book's very good. I
I'd
really
like to
enjoyed it.
I'd like to read that because
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Seiji Ozawa,
me
who
too.
maybe has departed now.
He has
Has
left
he
this
left?
planet.
He has, because I know that John Williams, the great John Williams, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Raiders themes, Jaws, Close Encounters. You name a great blockbuster movie the last 20 years, John Williams probably scored it. He came to Japan. He's 90 something. Came to Japan just this past year and performed a concert where he did so many of these themes in full, not just snippets, not like best ofs. He did the whole theme for every one of these movies. And at the end, I was just blown away by how great it was. And the audience really enjoying it. Fantastic music, fantastic scores, bringing it back so many memories. And then at the end, he comes out and talks about how he loves Japan. He's been here so many times, but the reason he came this time was because of his friend Seiji Ozawa, who he wanted to see and to say thank you and maybe even goodbye. And it was very, very tearful, very emotional. This was on NHK Live, and I'm watching, going, "Holy cow!" I was trying to record it and everything, and then he says, "And I want him to come out now." And I'm like, "Whoa!" And he's coaxing and coaxing to the back. We can't see behind, backstage. He's like, and we're looking at a curtain, which was just partially open. It's so weird. It was like he was holding it open. You couldn't see him. It was all dark, and just this curtain that's slightly open. And finally, he comes out in a wheelchair, being pushed out. Looked absolutely like a day away from death. He looked like that's it. But he was alive, and he came out, and John and him hugged, and there's tears everywhere. It was so nice that he did that. And he was just talking about how great his relationship was with Seiji Ozawa.
Well, a few years ago, I was at the symphony, and three three rows in front of me was
Oh,
Seiji Ozawa
wow.
sitting watching the
Wow.
concert
Oh my
too.
God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So it was such a nice
I
concert.
mean, he started here, but really a lot of Japanese are not as familiar with him, I think, as Americans, because he spent so much time at Tanglewood
Right.
in the Berkshires, Massachusetts. So
And
he
then he
was
went to Vienna.
Boston Pops, first Boston Pops, then
Yeah.
Tanglewood, then
And then he went to
to Vienna.
Vienna.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
his time in Japan as a conductor actually was very minimal, I
It
think,
was.
compared to.
But he had a festival every summer.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And so every summer he would come back to Japan and have this festival.
Oh, okay.
out in the countryside.
Oh, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So people got to see him every summer.
He went to Toho Gakuen. I taught at Toho Gakuen Girls. So the girls' school and the boys' school were separated, which
Mm.
is sometimes not a good idea. In this case, probably was a good idea. And Seiji Ozawa's the boys' branch, that was at some other part of Tokyo.
Mm.
I have no idea where it was. Never been there. But I taught at the girls' school for many years, so we always heard about him,
All right.
because it is the same school.
All
Just
right.
that,
Interesting.
and we had there was a running joke, I guess, you know, in the science class when they're talking about electricity and stuff, they say, there's gold and then there's tin and there's aluminum and all these things conduct. But what's the best conductor of all? Seiji
Seiji
Ozawa, right?
Ozawa.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. But yeah, the fact that he was able to come out on stage, which I don't think was planned. It clearly seemed like John Williams coaxed him to do this. Like he wasn't going to do it. He didn't want to be seen
Right,
because he
right,
looked so bad, and he
right,
did. He looked terrible. It was heartbreaking, but it was nice that they did this. They
right,
came
right.
out
Yeah.
and came out. But John Williams, yeah, big fan of Japan, and so many famous people, celebrities, whatever, love to come here. They love to, like Denzel, love to come here, at least promote their things
Right.
and talk with the Japanese, talk with the local people.
Well, a few years ago, I saw Wim Wenders.
Oh,
He came to Japan and he had a new movie,
wow.
and him and his wife were taking photos all around Japan.
Right.
And they didn't want to compete with each other. So they decided, okay, you take the color pictures and I'll
Ah,
take the black and white. And then they had a photography show
that's a
of what,
cool idea.
yeah, they had a photography show afterwards, and they printed all the pictures, and it was
I never
really
would have thought of
interesting.
that.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
a simple but great
Right,
idea.
right.
Wow, that's terrific.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was a great show.
I gotta check this
It
out.
was a
Where
great
where
show.
does it Ebisu, the Ebisu Photo Museum, maybe?
No, it was
Oh,
in some obscure
okay.
gallery.
Is
Yeah.
he the one, Vim Vendors? No, I'm thinking of Jim Jarmusch. I always mix those two up. Or maybe Vim Vendors does this too, because I know he's so big on Japan. He just made that what is it, Beautiful Life?
He made a movie about a janitor
Yeah, yeah,
who cleans the toilets
right,
and lives in this gorgeous place, right? And it's a kind of excuse to take photos of beautiful toilets in
right,
Japan.
right.
Right,
Now,
right.
now, that actor, I forgot his name. Oh, escapes my mind right now. But that actor who plays the janitor, I remember him when he was young, and he was in Tampopo, which was Itami Juzo's
I
new
really
comedy.
liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
was
he played
good.
a hood. He played a gangster, a playboy gangster, good-looking playboy gangster with his gangster moll, and they went around and they were just like this little loose thread that ran through all the skits of the movie, because the movie is just filled with small vignettes of life in Japan, making fun of them. And this gangster seems to show up in a lot of them for no reason at all. He's just there and he does some stupid thing or some silly thing, and then he's gone. For example, they're watching a movie and you don't see the movie, but you see them sitting in the theater, a la Cinema Paradiso. So, they're looking up, and somebody next to him is eating out of something, making noise with a wrapper, like we've all put up with. And I think he grabs the guy by the collar, pulls out a gun, and threatens to murder him right there if he doesn't stop chewing on this wrapper. The guy's like, scared to death that this mobster's, basically enforcing manners on him. And when I saw that, oh no, when I saw David Lynch's Lost Highway again recently, there's a similar scene. It's not in the theater, but it's driving, and it's when Robert Loggia pulls over a bad driver, pulls a gun on him, and then starts reciting the driver's manual. There are 6 car lengths to every stop, and it's like his words don't match his body language.
Mm.
He's threatening this guy with this incredible rage, yet he's reciting the driver's manual. And I thought, that reminds me of Juzo Itami's. Like, I wonder, like, maybe he decided this is a little bit of something I'd like to play with.
But I liked the Noodle Shop. It
Yeah,
was really good.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was a great movie. It's a
Yeah,
great movie.
everybody should see that
I
movie.
I know I know a lot of Japanese who don't like that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I never understood that.
Right.
But then I thought, you know what? I guess if it's hitting too close to home, and it's your culture, you may think like, hey, that's not funny. Why are you laughing about that? I'm guessing.
It's like Lost in Translation. I really enjoyed the movie, but I could see where some Japanese wouldn't,
Wouldn't.
because
Yeah.
it was a little
Yeah, it gets
pushy against
yeah, it can be. It
sometimes.
can just for the comedy, for the
right.
for to make the joke, they sometimes are showing the bad side, quote unquote, bad side of somebody or the culture. And
But Bill Murray is so good in that
right,
movie,
right.
and the hotel is
That kind of
beautiful.
made, yeah, the Century Hyatt, the
Yeah.
Century Hyatt. We actually, I filmed a thing like this, an interview in the Century Hyatt bar on the whatever 35th floor, whatever it is, up on top there, um, and with Peter years ago. We were doing Einstein Tower, and we just said, "Oh, let's go up there and just do a little interview." So we did a little interview. I had a hidden camera because there was no photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it wasn't mic'd or anything. It was just the camera mic. But we did it up there, and we ordered drinks and stuff. It had a beautiful view, and that was the only time I've been in. I tried getting in another time, and I had shorts on, and I couldn't get in the lobby. They were like, "Sorry," and they turned me back.
I tried to go one night,
Yeah,
and
no
they
shorts.
were remodeling.
Oh,
So we had to go down to like a few stories
right.
down to another place, which was very nice, and the
Yeah,
view was very good.
right.
And there was a girl next to us, and her boyfriend was celebrating something with her. And I said, "Oh, what are you celebrating? Is it your birthday?" And she goes, "No, I just started my new job."
Oh, right,
So it
right.
was exciting. Yeah.
I mean, there is so many bars, but I guess there's the one bar that was in the movie,
Right.
the one at the top there. Yeah,
It's
that was
great.
really,
Yeah,
really great.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of, it seems like in Shinjuku, which is where the Century Hyatt is, there are so many cool bars and restaurants that are on top floors of buildings that I guess every city has. But for some reason, Tokyo, you just, it's different. It's hard to describe. It's just a different feeling than if you go to another city and you eat at the restaurant at the top of the top of the building. Tokyo just has this, I don't know, maybe because it's just Tokyo.
Right. But I prefer the little alleys that has about
Yeah,
20 or 30 restaurants,
right.
and they have little lanterns,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's very cozy, and it's
Yes.
right there in Shinjuku.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right. There are some very famous, like the Yakitori Alley,
right.
which is right there.
It's very
This
good.
hanging lanterns, the stools,
Right.
the norin, the curtain, the norin that flows. It has the split down the middle there, and
And then you walk 15 or 20 minutes and you're in Little Korea.
right, right. You're in
And
Little Korea
yeah, it's so
in
amazing.
what Shinokubo
Yeah,
or Shinokubo over there. Yeah,
right.
yep, yeah, Ogikubo. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't believe it. You feel so different. And there's Indian restaurants
yeah, yeah.
and all kinds of supermarkets selling interesting stuff.
Though, well, even right there in Shinjuku, you've got speaking of vendors, you've got the bar area. There's an area of bars, and I guess Jim Jarmusch or maybe Vin Vendors too. They like this one bar or a couple of bars that they go to so much. Of course, they've got their pictures on the wall and everything, and even I think Coppola likes it too. And for some reason, they like this bar, and
Mm.
these filmmakers, these American filmmakers, like this bar, and and I've never been to it. I cannot find it. I don't know where it is. It's still there. Every time I go looking for it, I ask. I can never find this bar.
Well, it's just like Kill Bill when they made
Oh,
Kill Bill
right,
here.
right, right, right.
Right. And Tarantino would look around and find the best
Yeah.
places.
He filmed that. Wasn't that one scene, the big fight scene? Is that like an onsen? Is that not
No,
a
it's not
sento? It's
onsen.
a restaurant.
It's
It
a
is. It
restaurant.
is a
It's a
restaurant. It's
restaurant.
like a
Yeah.
multi-level, that
Right,
whole
right,
thing.
right. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it almost looks like the Spirited Away,
Right, right. It
Sento
does.
with the
It does.
multi-levels and the balconies around. But okay, it is a restaurant.
Right, right, right.
And what's her name? Yubaba, I think. I forgot her name. The actress who's in that with who plays the high school girl with the change.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw that movie, I thought, "Oh, come on, this is so silly." And I didn't even particularly like her style. I thought it was kind of silly. But then I caught her on some high school drama she had done years earlier, maybe when she was first starting out, and she played sort of this mysterious new girl who was almost like phantom-like. You're thinking,
Mm,
is she a ghost? What is she? Because she's got that look, with the kind of
right,
she does that, and I said, oh my God, this has got to be what Tarantino saw. Like he saw this and said, I need this girl.
right.
She was so impressive in this. I couldn't believe it was the same actress because I didn't really, Kill Bill. She was okay, she's okay. She did a little fighting and
I
then
liked it.
yeah, she's fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I thought it was like, come on, the high school girl. But after I saw this little thing she did, this drama, I was like, whoa, this girl can act. This is so good. I'm sitting there crying watching this this cheesy little high school drama with this girl in it. I couldn't
Well,
believe it.
there's a famous Buto guy
Right.
who's in the Kill Bill, and he's in lots of movies, and he only has little small parts, but I always like him, and I've seen him in live performances in Buto, and
Oh,
it's really good.
wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
you go to a lot of shows, a lot of
right,
different. You go to
right,
concerts, you go to recitals,
right. It's fun.
plays,
Yeah,
kabuki, sumo.
right, right, right.
I've done a few of those. I haven't done sumo yet. I want to. That's one of my bucket list things. I did kabuki and I did no theater,
Me too.
which was a little boring,
Right,
but it
it's
was an
yeah,
experience.
it's fun
It's
once.
fun once.
Yeah.
One of the schools I teach at, which is near Tokyo Dome, they have the no theater is over there. So the National No Theater. So that's kind of interesting. And then the Kabuki-za, I forget where that's located, but they
Hmm.
redid that recently.
They
It's
did.
all painted and it looks nice. And
Right.
kind of Ginza or something. I
It's
forget.
near Ginza.
Yeah, near
Yeah.
Ginza. Yeah, it's over
Yes,
there
yes.
somewhere.
And you can get the
Oh,
headphones
right,
and watch the show, and it's
right,
so interesting. And it's pretty reasonable. There's like 4 shows a day, different ones, about an
right,
hour each,
right, right,
and
right,
you can decide how many shows you want to watch.
right,
Yeah.
right. And
And some of the actors are quite famous.
oh yeah.
Clint Eastwood, he got some of them to do in his movie Iwo
Oh,
Jima.
Iwo Jima. Yeah,
Yes.
the was it Letters from My Father?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
two, right? He
yeah.
did the Japanese one and the
Right. And I really enjoyed it.
yeah, the other we were saying the other day, the actor who's in Arash, which is a very famous boy band here in Japan. Now they're retired. They've broken up and retired. They're beyond the age. But one of the actors who still looks like a boy, oh, I'm sorry, one of the musicians who still looks like a boy. He was an actor, and before he became an Arash member, and he's in the Iwo Jima. He's
Mm,
I guess one of the main young soldiers
right, right, right.
that Clint
Yes.
and I thought, oh wow, was this why did he hire him? But he can act. That kid can
Right, right,
act.
right.
I was so impressed. So wow, what a surprise that
And
was.
of course, the Kabuki guy is so
And
good.
of course the Kabuki guy, right,
Yeah.
because like Shakespeare,
Right,
Japanese
right,
Shakespeare, right? The
right, right.
trained theater person.
Right,
But this Haraj guy who's basically, jumps around on stage, does little dance numbers, then sings the poppy songs. I was
right,
like,
right, right.
whoa, he's in this heavy story and crying and just getting you to cry. And like, wow, that's impressive talent there.
But a lot of musicians, it's just natural for
That's
them.
right. That's right.
David Bowie,
Yeah. Oh
Mick
yeah.
Jagger,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. There are so
Ringo
many.
Starr.
Even Ringo Starr, even
Yeah.
Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi's done some acting a little bit.
Hmm.
Ally
Right,
McBeal.
right.
Yeah, there are a few
Yeah,
out there that can do it. They can
yeah.
do it all.
Right, right.
They do it all. Yeah, I don't get out as much as you, not nearly as much as you in terms of shows and things to see around Tokyo. But there's so much to see. There's so much to do.
There is, but it can be a little
It's
expensive.
expensive.
Right.
It's expensive.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of it's out over my budget.
Right.
I'm way down there. You're a little up here. I'm like down here. So I gotta definitely choose. Even movie theater, even movies. Movie theater tickets are what? 1,800 yen still.
Right. Hmm.
You can get a discount and such, but basically 1,800 yen, 1,600 yen, which nowadays is what? 15 bucks maybe? 12, 13 bucks
Well,
around
you
there,
just have
US
to
dollars.
wait the first of every month. It's 1,000 yen.
Oh, right, right.
So
That's a good deal.
a lot of people wait till the first of
Now
the
we're
month.
talking what, $7? That's like, whoa.
They wait till the first of the month and they go to the movie.
Isn't there a ladies' day too?
There used to be on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if they still have that.
Oh, okay.
Now they have AU Day.
Hey, you. No, no. OAU, the phone
AU is the
telecom
phone, right?
telecom company.
And it's cheap on that day
Is
too.
it really?
Yeah,
AU day?
AU Day. I think it's Mondays.
Holy cow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I think I do want to see Gladiator 2 on the big screen.
Okay,
It's a
right.
big screen movie
It is.
for
It
sure.
is. It's now it's playing right
It's
here
playing right now
in
in our theater.
Kichijoji.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you get to see a Sand and Sandal epic,
Right, right,
on the big screen? You
right,
don't. You don't.
right.
Gladiator was the last one. No, there were a couple since, but that were not good. I think there was a remake of Spartacus. There was another one too. Uh, Pompeii, I think, or something like that.
Mm,
They were so-so, but Gladiator was the biggie.
right.
Oh yeah, what was the other one that Colin Farrell, which bombed?
Oh,
Uh,
I liked it.
you liked it?
Yeah,
What was that about? Oh, Alexander, right?
Alexander the Great,
Alexander the Great,
and
right?
he's on top of elephants and
Right,
has bisexual lovers
right.
and
With what's his name? J Oh, I forgot his name
It's
now.
fun though.
Uh,
Yeah.
the guy who was in Blade Runner, the actor who musician
Mm.
who was in Blade Runner. I forget. Jared Leto. Jared Leto plays
Yeah.
the lover. Yeah, friend lover.
Yeah. I enjoyed the whole thing.
I like Troy. I thought Troy was great.
I like
I
Troy
thought Troy
too.
was
Yeah,
great.
it was
Yeah,
great.
that was great. Brad Pitt, Eric Bana,
Right, right,
Peter O'Toole,
right.
who
Peter's so good. Yeah, the father.
played the father,
Yeah,
played Hector's father.
he's excellent.
He's one of his
Yeah,
last, I'm assuming.
right.
Yeah, but yeah, in fact, speaking of Peter O'Toole and Tokyo, I saw Lawrence of Arabia in the Tokyo International Film Festival many years ago when I was on JET program in Shibuya as part of the venue of the festival. They always show classic films, of course.
Right.
And this particular year, Lawrence of Arabia was playing, so I had to see that, one of my favorites. And we were in this gigantic theater in Shibuya, and right, I forget what scene it was. I think it was when he gets shot, and they just blow up the train, and then he gets shot in the arm by a Turk who's still alive, and he actually enjoys the shot, like he's enjoying the pain. He's not wincing or anything, and it's so strange to see. And the Turkish guy, and he walks up to the man who's got the gun on him, who's shaking, and Lawrence is not fearful at all. It's almost like he feels like he's invincible in this. You know the scene, and right then the film
Oh
melts
no!
away.
Oh no!
I'm like, what?
Wow!
This actually happens? Like the films actually burn away? Like we've seen. And I'm like thinking like, oh no, they screwed it up. Like they got a bad printer. Like,
Mm.
but then I noticed the chandelier starts swinging.
It was
Like,
an earthquake. Yeah,
yeah, it
an
was an
earthquake.
earthquake, a big
Mm.
earthquake. It wasn't the biggie. It wasn't 2011. This is in the 90s. But it was a big enough one that it was shaking the building and it caused the projector alignment to shift to
Mm.
basically rip the film.
Right.
That's what happened. And so the lights came up, or the announcement, and they said, we're just going to stay here. I thought, that's not really good advice. Like, we should be evacuating. Like,
Right. Right.
this
Right.
isn't a good idea. I
Right.
mean, I guess they felt the building was so safe. But in hindsight, I would leave. If it was today, I would, whatever they said, I would leave that building. Because after 2011, after living through that, I'm like, no, no, no. You got to get outside, get out of the buildings.
Well, last week we had another earthquake. I'm
We did.
teaching English, and
Oh,
suddenly the building's shaking.
really?
Yes, yes.
This was last week?
Last
I
week.
didn't feel it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Was it during the day or
It
nighttime?
was about 6 or 7
Okay.
p.m.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I might have been napping.
yeah,
That's my nap time, I think. Really? Wow.
yeah, yeah.
We get earthquakes here all the time. Very, very slight ones in Tokyo. You get sort of used to it. I grew up in New York area. You grew up in the East Coast, so we didn't really get earthquakes growing up. But some people from California, this is
When I
nothing.
got
Like,
older, I lived in San Francisco a few
oh, okay, that's
years,
right. That's right. Yeah, you were in San
and
Francisco.
I was in the basement of a building, and the whole place was shaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other day in California, they had a 7.0.
They get it. They get them. Yeah, sure, of
Yeah, big
course.
one.
I think out of the entire U.S., California
Right,
gets
right.
the most of them. They're going to get the big one, right? Just like Tokyo, we're just like California. We hear stories about it, falling into the sea, and then all the good beachfront property will be in what, Nevada. Here it's the same thing with Saitama and Kanagawa, because they say that Tokyo is just going to drop off into the ocean when we get our big one, because we're overdue for a massive Tokyo area earthquake. The last one was 1923, and they say every 75 years. We're way past it, and all the signs lately have been showing that it could come within the next few years.
Well, they just had a volcano exploding in the Philippines yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, Mount Fuji. If
Right.
Mount Fuji erupts, not necessarily because of an earthquake, but though an earthquake does trigger that too. So you get both, with or without the earthquake. If the Fuji erupts, that's the end of Tokyo. It's just we're just too close to it, even though it's another prefecture. The Kurosawa had a short film as part of those. It's an omnibus of films with Scorsese and a few other
Oh,
filmmakers.
right. Yeah.
I forget what it was called now.
Hmm.
Dreams, maybe, or something. And Kurosawa had one that basically depicted really the side of Fuji. It takes place like on the mountainside, and it had already erupted. So this is after the fact, and there's people running around with horns. It was a crazy movie, crazy, yeah, bizarre, post-apocalyptic kind of thing.
It reminds me of that Richard Gere Kurosawa movie.
Right. The Richard Gere did the Rhapsody in August.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't. I heard that he didn't, since he doesn't speak Japanese. He learned his lines phonetically.
All right.
Yeah, just so he had no idea really what they meant as he said them. Of course, he knew the script and everything in English, but these words as he said them, he just learned them phonetically. So he was just saying the sounds. But apparently, good enough that a lot of people like that movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've seen the Rhapsody. If it's called Rhapsody in August, I haven't seen it. Um, yeah, I think we're probably getting close to our runtime here. And did you want to add anything else? Was there any kind of story or anything recently that's happened that maybe you want to share? I think.
Well, I was in the museum
Right.
in Ueno Park,
Okay.
and I was looking at the Japanese collection,
Oh,
and suddenly there was Mick Jagger.
whoa.
Yeah. So there was this huge bodyguard
Oh my God, yeah.
and a beautiful blonde girl.
Yeah, right.
And
Who
I
was
was,
probably a karate, black belt. She could take the big guy.
and I was gonna walk up to him and just say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bodyguard was like, no, don't even get
Don't
close.
even try.
Right,
Right.
So that was kind of fun.
That's interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
Now was Mick enjoying the artwork? What was he
He
doing?
was enjoying the artwork, and then when he walked up the stairs, he walked really fast. He was in good shape,
Yeah.
but he looked so old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be up there.
He's up there,
80s,
but
right?
he
He's
was
got to
still
be
in
in
good
his.
shape.
I think he was a student of Bruce Lee's, if I'm not mistaken, or I know he did karate. I think he might have done kung fu and tai chi and yoga and
Well,
vegetarian. I think he went
there
vegetarian.
was a British guy who was in charge of a Zen temple
Right.
here in Japan, and he went and visited him.
Okay.
So he's interested in
Yeah,
that.
he's
Yeah.
doing stuff. He's doing a lot of that stuff. I know
Right.
he used to do the drugs and all, of course, when he
Mm-hmm.
was younger.
Right.
But I had heard later on that he was totally the opposite now. Like it was all health stuff. Because
Right.
remember John Phillips, the Mamas and the
Right.
Papas,
Mm-hmm.
Mackenzie Phillips and John Phillips came to our high school. Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. Talk about drugs because Mackenzie was going through rehab,
Mm.
and the rehab was right down the road.
All
But
right.
this is in New Jersey. And so out of the blue, they decided, let's go visit the local high school and we'll give a message. And they did. They stood there in the gym. We all sat in the bleachers, you know, 20 feet away from John Phillips, who I had no idea who he was. I knew Mackenzie from One Day at a Time and American Graffiti,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't learn until later that this was the guy who basically created Mamas and the Papas
All right.
and was singing these songs that I had heard. So,
Mm-hmm.
and he told the story that he was on heroin. He was just addicted to heroin, and he had literally had needles in his arms all day long. They just always in his arms, just needles,
Wow.
that bad. And he went to these shooting galleries, where you just like the opium dens of old. And one day, he said he was going to die. Like he was going to basically he was on his deathbed, ODing in this shooting gallery. Nobody cared, right? Of course. And somebody came in and grabbed him and pulled him out and took him home and took him in and got him help and everything. And that was Mick Jagger. He said
Wow.
Mick Jagger saved his life.
Incredible.
And he said a lot of people think Mick Jagger's a drug head. He says, no, he's not. He's very health conscious. And he says people even at his shows, they throw Quaaludes and stuff on the stage. And he says, I don't want this shit. Get it off. And he would stop singing and
Right.
kick it off. So we were like, whoa, yeah, this is surprising. But he was trying to tell us, don't do drugs. These cool guys, they don't do drugs. You think they do, but it's just an image. And yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed with their talk, and they were very serious about it. They weren't there to it wasn't an autograph thing or anything. It was just like, we want to talk to the kids.
Right.
And have no idea if they changed anybody's minds, but it was kind of cool.
Right.
Kind of cool to have that. But yeah, Mick Jagger. I've seen a few semi-famous people in Tokyo over the years. But I've been in Tokyo when they were here, but I didn't actually see them.
Right.
The president, Bush came, Clinton came, Hillary came, George Bush Sr. was here. I think that was around the time I first came to Japan. And then Trump came. I was here for that. Obama came. He went to Hiroshima.
Obama came.
Went to Hiroshima.
I was in Ginza, and I was walking around, and there were police everywhere saying you can't go down the street
Sure.
because he was going to eat sushi at this very nice sushi restaurant
Right.
in Ginza.
Right.
So we
Right.
weren't
Right.
allowed to walk down this path near the shop.
Right.
So it was
Yeah,
very interesting.
they close off everything. It's
Right,
like, oh, great. Thanks a lot.
right.
Yeah.
But they need to.
They need to. Yeah, they need to. Just making
Right.
sure that we're still recording. Looks like we are. Looks like we're okay recording. Yeah, okay. Just double check. Yeah, uh I did see somebody who's not famous to anybody, probably outside of Japan. In Japan, she's quite famous. I didn't know who she was. I just thought she was a very strange looking person. But I remember um, crossing the street in Shinjuku, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, Japanese woman, and this woman in front of us is waiting at the crossing, like we are, and there's lots of people around, you know. And she turns around and she sort of looks at me and sort of smiles. It doesn't wink, but sort of winks like, "Oh, hello, hi," you know, kind of like interested, right? And I was like, "Oh, wow." And it was this woman with this like pinkish orange hair and very flamboyant clothes. And my girlfriend's freaking out. She's freaking out. I'm like, what, take it, what's going on? And she wouldn't let me cross. Like as soon as we could all cross, including this person, this woman, she held me back. My girlfriend held me back, like, no, no, no. I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's just that's Miwa. That's Miwa. And I was like, who's Miwa? Who's Miwa? Miwa, you mean she's very famous. And I was like, oh, she's a writer and she does it. She's like, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Tell it. And I didn't know till later that Miwa was Mishima's lover.
Right. And she's some kind of psychic.
Yeah.
And she's on TV
Yeah,
and
so
people
now, right now I
cry.
see her, like this was
Right.
years ago. Now
Right.
I see her on TV doing these
Right.
shows where people are crying and
Right.
give, just spilling their guts emotionally, and
Right.
she's giving them advice or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
very
Right.
calmly.
Yes.
And I guess it's a man, right?
hmm
Is it a man? It's a man. Miwa's a man.
He was a man. I don't know if he
Oh, okay,
actually changed or
okay,
not. I'm not
okay.
sure.
But sort of definitely dressed like a woman, definitely looks like a woman.
Right. Right.
But this is before transgenderism. This is
Kind of
before.
blondish hair.
Yeah, blondish, sometimes pink, sometimes
Right.
orange, sometimes
Right.
red,
hmm
and
And still going.
still going. Looks the same. Looks the same that I remember seeing in the street
Right.
that
Right.
day.
Right. Right.
And I just thought that was funny how Yukio Mishima, who Nobel Prize winning writer of Japan, his lover, acknowledged me in a crossing in Shinjuku. It was a weird, this is the kind of weird stuff that happens to you when you come to Japan. You just never know what you're going to bump into.
Well, they made the movie about Mishima,
Yeah,
and
sure.
the family of Mishima
Yeah, how'd they feel
wouldn't
about it?
allow
Oh,
that movie to come to Japan
oh,
because they talked about him being
right.
bisexual and having gay
Oh, I didn't know that.
encounters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they had a lot of influence and they didn't allow
It
that
wasn't
movie to
shown,
come.
which is crazy. Well, not crazy, but which is impressive because that was produced by Coppola
Right.
and it was directed. Who was it directed by? Another biggie too. And you had Roy Scheider's voice
Right.
as Mishima
Right.
narrating. You had the actor was fairly famous too, and it had a lot of big names behind it. Is it Philip Glass or Eno?
Maybe Philip Glass did the
Philip Glass did
music.
the
Yeah.
music, who
Right.
was at that time was gigantic because he had
Right.
just done Koyaanisqatsi before
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
Everybody was talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A very groovy movie.
Yes. So they were powerful enough not to have that movie
Wow.
come to
Because
Japan.
you think like here's a film about Japan, about Japanese culture, about this figure of Japanese culture that was instrumental in a lot of things, and this gigantic prize-winning writer, author, as well as Japanese awards. He won the Nobel Prize, and I think he might have won. Did he also win the?
No, he was
Oh,
nominated for the
nominated.
Nobel Prize.
Oh,
He never
oh, he
received
never
it.
won the Nobel
He
Prize.
never won.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
he was nominated.
He was not. Was it the Golden Pavilion? Was that the one?
The-
Golden Pavilion, the Kyoto.
Right.
That was his story, right?
Yeah, lots of them.
Okay, he was nominated, right? Yeah, who? Right, they had a panel. I remember seeing a panel. Him and two other writers was Soseki. I forget who it was.
Hmm.
Who the actual winner
Right.
of that year, and he was there in the panel.
Soseki.
Soseki. So yeah,
Soseki
they were
was.
on
Yeah.
this talk show, and
Well,
quite interesting.
I was taking a sewing class
Right, right.
with this Japanese woman, and she said, "Oh, and by the way, a few blocks away is Mishima's house."
Oh, wow.
And she showed me his house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it was
Interesting.
so nice. It's
Yeah, he was sort of a contrast, that guy.
He was.
And he ended his life seppuku, harikari, we know it in the States, but seppuku is the Japanese term, you know, uh, by disembowelment with a special sword, a special purified small katana like this size.
And then he asked his staff to cut his head off.
And then he was decapitated,
And
right?
he did it.
Right.
Yeah.
With a katana,
Right.
the old-fashioned way.
So
The
it was
old
so it was very sad.
Yeah, very sad. And this was I believe it was in the Ministry of Defense building, if I'm not mistaken. He basically held up there with an army of followers that were part of this sort of paramilitary
His little private army.
private army,
Yes.
proto students who, all men,
Who loved the emperor.
loved the emperor. They were very
Yeah.
pro-emperor, very pro-imperial Japan, and they didn't like the way the West was influencing this country and changing it into something else. Some people even today, no, I'm not talking about the right wingers, but some people today um, feel the same way, and a lot of them are foreigners who disparage the fact that a lot of Japanese things are falling by the wayside in favor of American or other Western countries' influence. And I can include myself in that group because I see so many. I love architecture, I love homes and design, and I see so many local houses being torn down, old Japanese style houses being torn down, and in their place go up very modern, very nice, very modern, nice European, usually Bauhaus inspired type of buildings, international style. And yet, I mean, they're great. They're nice houses. They're beautiful. They have all the modern conveniences, but they're not a traditional Japanese home anymore. And so they could be anywhere. They could be in Sweden. They could be in the States, anywhere. And it's no longer, to me, Japanese. So,
But the sad part is Frank Lloyd Wright made this gorgeous hotel
yeah,
in Tokyo,
right.
and it wasn't big enough and it didn't make enough money. So they moved the whole hotel to this obscure area, and only the bar is left
Yeah, the bar.
that he
Great bar. It's a
designed,
great bar.
and the furniture, which I really like.
Yeah.
But
Everything,
everything else
yeah,
has
the whole,
changed
in
just for
fact,
money.
in fact, and he's talking about the Imperial Hotel. The Imperial Hotel, which was right across from the palace, right? So you had the Emperor's Palace, which is this gigantic moated, gardened, incredible, like eighth wonder of the world. And you have across from this plaza, you have this hotel facing it, perfectly situated. Like here's the hotel where the guests will stay, and they will go in this procession meet the Emperor. And naturally, it's called the Imperial Hotel. And it just was, the design is you can see it online in pictures. There's not many pictures of it, unfortunately, because of the age of it. But it was built, and here's the thing about that hotel. This is the crazy thing, is that it was inaugurated on the same day as the 1923, as the earthquake, the great earthquake of
Wow.
1923, the Tokyo earthquake, the last big one we had, was the same day they opened, and it suffered no damage. So the rest of the city was falling down.
But Frank's hotel
Frank's
was fine.
hotel, yeah, and then here's another thing, another irony. Frank designed the hotel based on Japanese style of cantilever. He studied temples and shrines and how they didn't use nails. They used fitted pieces and cantilever design, so pressure was spread out. So they would withstand earthquakes, they would sway, they would move. And he built his Imperial Hotel this way with stone and other hard materials, but local materials. He always used local materials. And it withstood the test of time. It withstood World War II. It was not, it was slightly damaged in World War II, but it totally was the same hotel. It was still there, and it withstood all this, and it did not survive the bulldozer.
And it did not survive commercialism
It didn't.
because they didn't make enough
The
money.
bulldozer, yeah, the wrecking ball
Right.
killed it. And
They moved it to another
but they
area.
only moved the front building.
Right.
The actual rooms, no.
Right.
But the front, which is a marvel. But it was the whole complex because it had a garden, it had surrounding buildings. It was really something to see. And apparently, from what I understand, and I don't know if this is true, but his wife, his widow, when they were destroying, and I say destroying, when they were destroying the hotel, She laid down in front of the bulldozers,
Mm.
and she was in her 70s or 80s. He
Wow.
was long gone. He had died.
Right.
And I don't think he would have put up with it if he was alive. Like he probably would have protested it. Although on the other hand, he may have said, "Nope, make way for new." That was the kind of guy he was.
Right.
Didn't look back. So he may have said, "Yeah, go right ahead."
Yeah. So now you have to go to Yosemite and go to his hotel in Yosemite,
Yeah,
which is
which is
gorgeous.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple of his structures that he himself, not his students, but he himself designed and built in Tokyo. I think there are two left where you can still see his work in Tokyo. One's a school now, and I forget, one is a church maybe. But they're not like the Imperial Hotel.
Right.
But they are impressive. They are
Right.
beautiful. There was even a mystery drama filmed inside one of them I saw on TV. But yeah, he was so influenced by Japan
Right.
that he took back all these ideas and used them in American architecture, became perhaps the greatest American architect, at least the most well-known. And a lot of people don't realize, Americans don't realize, a lot of his designs are Japanese. You clearly can see it in the modern Japanese
Sure.
home,
Right. Right.
even the modern homes I'm
Right.
talking about. And they're not copying Frank Lloyd Wright. That's just the way they always did it,
Right. Right. Right.
which is so odd, because you'd think like, oh, well, they must know Frank Lloyd Wright, which they do, but these designers have been doing this forever. This
Right.
is since the Meiji period or even before that. But yeah, he's just one of so many people who are influenced by Japan. And just recently, we're in Christmas, coming up to Christmas, the holidays. Just recently, I discovered, it was last year or 2 years ago, I discovered that the Christmas specials that I grew up watching, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Little Drummer Boy,
Charlie Brown.
not Charlie Brown, not Charlie Brown, the puppet ones, the
Oh,
puppet,
right.
yeah, Charlie Brown's the cartoon animation,
Right.
but these are the ones with the puppets. Year Without a Santa Claus, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and a couple of others, which had the puppets, right? They were made in Japan. Not only were the puppets made in Japan, the animation was done in Japan. We knew it as Rankin Bass Productions. That was always the company we saw at the end of those things. Well, we're crying. Oh! You see Rankin and Bass, so that's all you remember. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that one of them, I think it was Rankin, Charles Rankin, came to Tokyo and looked for somebody who could animate these puppets, make them and animate them well. And Japan has a history of puppetry and this kind of thing. Sometimes you can see it. You see the sticks and everything, they don't
Right.
hide, but they have a history of it. They have a craft. And he found some people who would do it. A small studio not far from us here in Nakano, where you used to live, actually, Nakano,
Right.
was a small studio. Kizo Naguchi, I think his name was, and he was in charge of it. And you can see his name on the credits. And little old ladies and young guys all made these things, sewed them up, and animated it, filmed it. And Rankin took the stuff back to the States, animated, it was done. They scored it with their music. Maury Laws did the music, and they dubbed it with the voiceover.
Well, I was teaching.
So it was a half Japanese, mostly Japanese production.
I was teaching English to this famous production here on NHK.
Oh,
There's this big animated figure called Domo.
oh, sure. Yeah, the NHK.
And the only thing he can
mascot.
say is Domo.
The Domo, right?
Domo,
Domo.
Domo,
Yeah,
Domo.
right. Thank
So,
you. Right, thank you.
thank you.
Or hello, or hello, or
hello. So I was
multi-purpose,
teaching.
right?
I was teaching this company.
Wow.
That was their only hit.
Right.
And they were making small little movies
Yeah.
that weren't so exciting, but they were nice.
Sure.
And they were trying to sell them to France.
Ah.
They thought the French people would
Oh,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So they wanted to get good English skills so they could negotiate when they went to France. So I was teaching them, and I got to see the sets, and it was very fun.
That is so, yeah, that's a great story. That's so indicative of so many teacher experiences, or not just teachers, but a lot of teachers have these experiences where they have a short job,
Right.
teaching job, and they've got these crazy situations. I think you also taught at a prison. Didn't you teach at a prison or a military academy or something?
I taught at the Japanese.
Oh, the self-defense force.
Self-defense force.
Right. The Army or the Navy or the Army one, right? The Army.
They were going overseas to the Middle East.
Yeah, probably the Army one, right?
GKO.
The GTI.
They were the Jedi.
Right.
So I went every week, And we had curry rice for
Oh yeah.
lunch,
Oh
and I
yeah.
ate with them,
Right.
and that was part of the job.
Right.
Yeah.
And you also taught, I know you were teaching nurses for a
I
while.
was teaching nurses out in
You were
Saitama,
the envy of
and
all of us other
some
all of
of
us
our
other
friends
teachers.
were like, "Oh, when they have a
Be
party,
included,
please invite me,
be
please invite
included.
me."
Yeah, I
Right,
was
because they had
yeah.
nurse fantasies. Uh, and then I was teaching a
Yeah.
Japanese movie star, Shina
Oh,
Kippe,
okay.
and he was on TV
Right,
and in movies,
right.
and he won the Japanese Academy
Oh,
Award,
okay. Wow.
and he was big deal.
Big deal. Yeah,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Big deal.
And I went to his house every week in Daikanyama,
Right,
and I
right.
was teaching him. And his next door neighbor was Mr. Sukaya,
Oh.
who owns all the Sukaya shops all
Oh,
over.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Big
that was
bucks.
fun. Yeah.
Big bucks.
Big bucks.
Yeah, the experiences one can have
Right.
with very little introduction. So, Japan is such an introduction focused country where you really can't get to the big shots, the important people, the boss of a company, unless you have various introductions from the middle people to get through. It's the same in the States too, but here it goes back so many thousands of years where you had to work your way through these very formal rituals of introduction, and everything had to be just right, or you weren't going anywhere. You were out
Right.
the door. They were going to show you the door. And today it's not that different. It's not that different in corporate Japan. And here's the caveat, like you point out right now, if you're in a certain field like teaching or something like that, you're sort of scooted to the front of the line in many times, and you're welcomed into. If you remember the movie Last Emperor, Peter, we were talking about Peter O'Toole earlier.
Right.
Peter O'Toole plays a tutor to the emperor, so he is afforded the total access to this inaccessible person that the common person was not allowed to even look at. They had to lower their head. So here was this guy, not only is he with him, he's joking with him, and he's even insulting him sometimes, because he's the tutor. So he's afforded this access. It's very similar here.
Right. I had an agent, and they hooked me up with all kinds of famous people.
Right, because
And it was
they
fun.
make the context. They
Right.
do all that work.
Right. And I'm sent.
And you're sent. And you're
Right.
sort of a hired gun, right?
Right.
You're a hired gun.
But I don't get paid that much.
Right.
But it was just a fun experience.
That's the bad side of
It
it.
was a fun
You don't
experience,
get
and I
paid what you
enjoyed
think
it.
you would get.
Right.
Right.
The agent got most of the money,
Agent gets most
and
of the
he
money.
gave me a little.
But even if you added yours to the agents, it still wouldn't be like it would be in the States or Europe, where you would expect like tons of money from such a thing. Japan is they just don't pay like that.
Right.
They just don't. Even for the Japanese without the agent, they're only going to get a certain amount.
Right.
So you see, sort of like the Bill Murray, we were talking earlier about Bill Murray and that commercial he's doing in the movie Lost in Translation.
Right. Right.
He comes here and he gets $1 million
Country.
for Suntory, $1 million for like 30 seconds, right?
Right.
Japanese don't get that, right?
Right.
They're not going to get that. They're going to work hard. That's why you see the talentos, the singers, like the kid from the Okinawan Story, the movie. They do so many projects because they don't get paid a lot.
But my student, Mr. Kippe,
Right.
he was doing some commercials for some of the big car companies.
Yeah,
And
they
he said,
pay.
that's what pays.
Yeah, they pay.
That's what pays.
Oh yeah,
Not the
Toyota.
movies.
Toyota.
Right.
Toyota's the biggie. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
friend who does. I did a couple commercials. My friend does it all the time. He said Toyota, Asahi beer, Ebisu beer, the beer commercials, the car commercials, which is funny because you shouldn't mix them. But those two are the big payouts. Everything else, it's so-so.
So I hope everybody has a nice Christmas and New Year's
Yeah.
and the rest of your life.
Right.
And enjoy.
And in Japan, they do celebrate Christmas, right?
They do. They have chicken and
Right.
they eat Christmas cake.
Now, okay, hold on with the chicken. Now, this is a Japanese thing, right?
It's Kentucky Fried Chicken.
KFC.
And they can't cook turkeys because they have small ovens.
Sure.
So everybody goes to Kentucky Fried Chicken and eats the Kentucky
gets
Fried
their chicken, right?
And then they get some nice, delicious cake.
Right, Christmas cakey.
From the bakery.
Right.
Or they order them from 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it's like a shortcake, right?
And usually it's strawberries in it.
Strawberries. It's
Right.
got icing.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Very, very tasty. It's a huge business. Huge
Right.
business. Gigantic.
Everybody gets one.
It's probably like I guess Valentine's Day was created by some merchant somewhere, and fortune cookies came from San Francisco. Like it's
Right.
one of these things where a holiday pretty much got promoted by somebody who makes a product that you give.
And I
Japan
heard
is
it's
a Christmas
British.
cake. Oh, okay. The British.
British have cakes for
Okay.
Christmas
Okay.
because US we have
We
cookies
have cookies.
and we have fruitcake.
And we have fruitcake, yeah, fruitcake. But we also have a lot of like I'm half Italian, Irish and Italian. So the Italian, I have a heavy influence from the Italian side with my grandmother. My Irish grandparents were already gone, so pretty much. So I had a lot of pastries and danishes and Italian
Cannolis.
cannolis, Italian cookies. We had this thing which was like a big plate of, they were like bread, like little balls, but they were like breadish kind of in a way, like croutons, but they were not croutons. And there was like a syrup poured over them, and they
Really?
were all sticky. It was
Wow.
crazy. It's like, how
Was
do
it
you eat this?
tasty?
It was tasty, but a little dry,
Okay.
considering it had all the syrup on it.
Oh,
And then the powdered cook, all these Italian things. They were great. But the Japanese love this Christmas cake. They just go
they
crazy.
do.
They literally line up like Star Wars line all the way down the block to get this cake. And they do it for the chicken too.
Right.
Not just KFC, but you can go to pretty much any convenience store, any 7-Eleven, any Family Mart, any Lawson, and you will see the workers outside in the freezing cold
Right. Selling the chicken.
selling on a table. They've got the Santa hat. They've got, they're all
Right.
set. They're like this. They got this on there, and they're selling these chickens,
Right.
fried chicken. They're either like a drumstick or something, or a fillet
And usually they have it on a weekend.
on a weekend.
So it's the Saturday or Sunday
Yeah.
before Christmas.
Right. And Christmas in Japan is kind of a romantic holiday.
It is. You're supposed to take your lover to a very nice restaurant
Oh,
for
and
Christmas.
and a hotel maybe
Christmas
after. Yeah,
Eve.
right.
Christmas Eve. It's the
Christmas Eve.
24th is the
Sure.
popular one.
And
And then you go to the hotel
the hotel.
after
And a nice hotel. We're
a
talking.
gorgeous hotel.
Yeah, gorgeous hotel. This
Right.
campaigns, their whole
Right,
package
right.
tours of
That's
this.
it.
The Japanese tourist industry they've just jumped in head first in this tradition and taken advantage of it.
And then, amazingly, the next day, they take down all the decorations and put up the New Year's
Yeah,
decorations
yeah.
because that's really the big holiday in Japan.
That really is.
Right.
That's their Christmas.
That's
right.
their Christmas.
Yeah, is their Oshagatsu, right?
Right,
The
right,
Oshagatsu, the New Year's holiday.
So the kids, they get one present for Christmas.
Right.
And then for New Year's, they get tons of money from all the relatives.
All the money, right?
And they really enjoy it.
The money, and
Yeah.
then they go to the temple, the shrine, I should say, the shrine,
Shrine or the temple.
or the temple,
Right.
and then they do their prayers,
And
their
then they
fortune. They get a fortune.
And then they eat this 10-course
Right. The
lunch.
osechi,
With mochi soup.
all these different things, which is
Right.
supposed to be the variety for the year. Like, so your year has a lot of good things, variety of good things.
And it was because the women, they cooked all this food for one day and it's supposed to last for 3 or 4 days.
Ah,
So you
okay.
just keep eating this stuff.
Okay. And then there's the noodles. You have this somen, right?
That's at the end of the year, you're supposed to eat soba.
Soba,
Soba
right.
on December 31st. You eat soba for a long life.
Right,
And
because
then-
the noodles are
because they're
long,
the
right?
long ones,
Right,
right.
right. So
And then
you don't cut the noodles when you're
don't
eating.
cut
No,
the
no, no,
noodles.
no,
They
no,
have
no,
to be
no.
the whole
Right,
long.
right. Long life.
And then you clean your house before January
Right,
1st.
right. The big cleaning,
So
right?
everybody's cleaning.
Like everything.
Except the foreigners. The
Right.
foreigners are like, we do that in the spring. We
Yeah,
don't do that
right,
at the end
right,
of the
right,
year.
right. I have to admit, I do it both times. I
Right,
do it now. I'm afraid to like get the bad luck.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, right. The soba. I always do that. And then there's
Then there's the bell ringing.
the bell ringing.
December 31st, about 10 p.m., they start ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And there's 108 times.
And when you say bell, you mean bell.
It's a huge
It's
bell at these
right,
big
yeah.
temples.
Right, right, right.
Right. And there's 108 bad things in each person.
Okay.
So they ring it to get rid of the
100
108 bad things like greed and
Yeah,
anger.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting. And
Ye-
I've been one of the volunteers.
Right, where you
And
go
hit
up.
the bell, and it was very
That's
fun.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
You get in this long line, and everybody hitting the bell once.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds so beautiful too.
It is.
It's
It's
really,
very,
it
very
just
beautiful.
resonates.
But it's freezing at night.
It's free. Well, that's part of the holiday, the spirit,
right.
right? You get out. It's got to be cold.
And then you get some hot sake.
Hot
at
sake.
night, sweet hot sake, and it's very tasty.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So it's fun.
And then you get your fortune if you want to do that. You don't
Right.
have to, but a lot of people get that, and the kids get that. Kids like it.
That's it. That's it.
Um,
And if it's a bad fortune,
yeah.
you tie it onto the tree and leave it at the temple.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Right. You leave it there. And then
Right.
we get, last couple of years, you and I have been going over to the local temple, which is on another episode here, Benzentai Temple in Inokashira Park.
That's it. On the pond.
Right there on the pond, right? A little
Right.
island on the pond. It's his own temple. It's
Right.
it's very popular. It's a beautiful little temple. And we go there and we get our omamori, our
Right. Our
good luck,
special good luck
our
things.
good luck charm. I've
For
got
good
my-
health.
Yeah,
And for good luck.
right. And for
Yeah.
fortune, for
And for
good
good
money,
fortune.
good money coming
Yeah.
in.
And this year it was very helpful for me.
Yes, you
I
did
did
well
pretty
with that.
good.
You did
Yes,
well. I did
yes,
pretty
yes.
good. I did pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that, but I did pretty good.
And we survived.
We survived, right? We survived to the next one. So and then
Ah.
and we turn ours in, right? We turn our
At the end of the year, you bring all the old ones to the temple
Hmm.
and they burn them, and you have to buy all the new
right,
ones.
right. But that's
Right.
what they like purify, like get rid of all the negative,
Right.
you know. And it's nice. It's nice,
Right.
nice
It's a
tradition.
good custom.
I like it, and they're not expensive. They're about
Right.
$10 or so, cent or
Right,
so.
right.
They weren't bad. It was a good deal.
And some people buy the arrows.
Right, the arrow.
And the arrows are for good luck
Yeah,
too.
I see that a lot.
Right.
I've never done that.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people.
Yeah,
come
I
back with-
buy the arrows
buy
sometimes.
the arrows.
Yes, sir.
And then,
So next year is the year of the snake.
yeah.
So we have to be careful.
Yeah, because this is the year of the dragon, which sounds great. Sounds
Right.
really
I like the dragon.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. In fact, speaking of dragons, at the temple, they have a dragon fountain which washes the money.
Right.
So we sometimes go there and bring our money
And wash the
and wash
money.
it with the dragon. Yeah,
Right.
but now it's the
Next
year of
year
the
is the
snake.
snake.
And what's that all about?
And in some countries, it's the ox.
Okay. Oh,
it
really?
depends on
So
the
it depends.
country, yeah.
Okay.
Depends
Okay.
on the country.
Because I know Japan, even though it's the same animal, they kind of make it cuter. Like the year of the boar in China is the year of the pig here, I think, right?
Right.
And the year of the rooster is the year. I think it's the rooster here, or is it chicken? I forget. But they kind of change it a little bit,
Right, a little bit.
a little bit more friendly,
Right,
a little
right.
fuzzy,
Yeah.
little Hello Kitty.
And they're all cute.
They're all cute. They're all cute animals. The Chinese one, they're not cute.
Even the snake, they try to make it cute.
They try to make it cute. Yeah,
Right,
they do.
right.
So who knows what the year of the snake will bring, but hopefully it'll be good things.
So have a good year.
Have a good year. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Take
holidays.
care.
And we'll see you next time in 2025.
Okay.
The year of the snake. The year of the cat. I still remember that song. Remember the year of the cat?
Right.
Al Stewart. What a great song.
That's a
We
great
should come out with Year of the Snake. We need another one from Al Stewart. All right. Take care, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.